Hi, welcome to the Rapid Return Show. I'm your host, Clarence, and the show is sponsored by MeetOtis.com. I'm sitting here with Dominic from RoadShield today, and we're going to learn a little bit about RoadShield, and I'm going to try to find a marketing problem that I can offer him a tip to help with. So, Dominic, RoadShield. Tell us how RoadShield came about, your origin story, and the problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah. So the seed was initially planted by my uncle. My uncle, he's the other co-founder. He's a little bit older. He's in his 70s, but he was always known as the idea man in the family. We have family in the state trooper space, but initially he came up with the idea and pitched it to me at a family reunion. But the initial idea was essentially an iPad at the end of a selfie stick that would be extended at a traffic stop. It would be extended by the police officer to the next car. And I understood where he was heading.
So almost like a pole that you just kind of...
Yeah.
That would be a little awkward, wouldn't
it? I know. The whole purpose, though, was what he was trying to do was establish communication from a distance before approaching the vehicle as an officer. So I was listening to this, and I repitched the idea to him as a software platform, which just totally made sense for numerous reasons, mostly scalability. But yeah, that's really the originating story of RoadShield. Now, it just started to make more and more sense as we interviewed more agencies and just learned about their fears. That so many fears that officers face during traffic stops: fear of the unknown, fear of getting sideswiped by oncoming traffic. They're really walking into a blind scene. But one of the officers, his partner, was murdered during a traffic stop. He was shot 11 times, and he was impacted for the rest of his life. So to really taking all these stories into consideration and create RoadShield, it's been nothing but exciting, fun, and it really the future of RoadShield is promising. I think we're really solving a huge problem here.
Who buys RoadShield?
So RoadShield's free for civilians.
Okay.
We would make our revenue primarily from working with agencies and licensing the software to them. Based on the size of the jurisdictions, the amount of officers in the police agency, that would be quoted essentially, based on those factors.
So it sounds like you have two types of customers, right?
Two markets.
You're selling. I'm going to use the word selling because you're getting them to do a thing.
There is a
they're
selling
not paying.
piece to the civilian side. Like long term, you're going to be able to essentially pay for speeding tickets because they're going to be digitally sent to you from the police officers. So you can pay for tickets through the RoadShield app and that convenience fee, and then the ability to outsource your pullover to an attorney to have them represent you. So there are some revenue streams on the civilian side.
Got it. So you have a freemium model. So it's free for me to get into RoadShield, and then you're going to monetize me through these which I love that idea.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you have the consumer side, and then you have the enterprise side where you're selling
B2B,
to the agencies. Let's talk about the consumer side first.
Got it.
So how many downloads do you have today, and how many active users are you looking at?
Yeah. So we just launched our app.
Okay.
We just recently launched our new app. We have I think 300.
Okay.
But the thing is, Clarence, is we weren't able to. We haven't really started marketing. We haven't started marketing. We have two separate demographics here to market to. One being the civilian, one being the police. So we really have to learn how to effectively communicate with those two markets, the right messaging, and ultimately bring them together.
That's right.
So that's the key here. But we have about 300 downloads, but we haven't really started pushing it yet.
So do you know who your kind of ideal consumer client is, what they look like?
It depends. Being pulled over brings a lot of anxiety to a lot of people. It's extremely highly stressful environment. Tensions are high. The police officer, when they approach your vehicle, sometimes you don't know where they're approaching from, and when they're at the window, they're looking down at you. So anybody that feels like alone in those situations, those are our primary, our targeted users.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I think I have a tip for you. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
So you touched on something right there, which is fear.
Fear.
You're selling fear. And follow me.
Yeah.
Fear sells very well.
Fear
Sells very well, right?
Fear sells.
And so what I would do is first of all, I would come up with some marketing budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
It does not have to be huge. I would start with advertising the freemium app download because that's going to be a very low cost of acquisition.
Right.
And you mentioned you're gearing up to raise some money.
Oh yeah.
And I think that having consistent downloads and being able to show that you're getting a lot of people
adoption.
into this user adoption is how you're gonna get there, right? So I would come up with a modest budget, and Otis could work with you to develop a strategy to attract your ideal client. We can figure out the channels and the messaging where that kind of fear will work, and then once you understand your cost to acquire a user, then you're going to be able to really predictively scale that app.
Right.
And once you have 10,000, 100,000 users in your ecosystem,
now you have something tangible.
Now you really have something to talk to the agencies about, right?
100%.
Right now, I would focus on that. That way, when you are selling to the agencies, you can say, we have, 15% of the people in your county are on Road Shield, something like that. And you can do that too. You can go county by county and be really precise with your targeting.
Right. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That would be my tip to you.
Yeah, because the key element here is for user adoption for agencies to want to get involved, because the full circle is working with police agencies and connecting with civilians during traffic stops and creating that icebreaker, that first layer of defense before approaching the vehicle, and being able to connect with them in a way that is completely transparent. As soon as you reach out to that driver ahead of you as an officer and connect with them on a video call, the software automatically begins recording.
That's great.
Instantaneously. And then at the conclusion of that pullover, that video is delivered to both parties involved. So it's no longer like someone is in control of the footage. It's like, no, this is what happened. This was delivered to both of us, and you can reflect on those pullovers accordingly in the app, and then they can end it with sending you the ticket digitally, and it'll be attached to that app.
And by the way, your tickets are going to get paid faster, right?
For the
Which
state,
is another benefit for the state.
Yeah.
So I think that
it just makes it accessible, easy. It doesn't get lost in the mail or.
That's right.
No, it's like. It's just easily accessible through the app, attached to that pullover with that contextual information for you to reflect on it, and you can pay for it right from the phone. And if you have something that happened during that pullover, you can attach an attorney to it. Like, hey, I'm going to outsource this entire pullover, and they're going to have all the information.
So I think growing the user base, like we just talked about, is essential. And then when you go to those agencies, it's going to be an easy sale because you tell them, I have this many users in your jurisdiction. Yep. There will be videos. Do you want a copy of it?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to be involved here?
That's right.
But the unique feature that we're using for the police is the ability for them to view their jurisdiction from a bird's eye view.
Interesting.
So police officers now can view their jurisdiction from a bird's eye view. And what Road Shield will do is it'll populate that jurisdiction with live pullovers happening. So now police officers have the ability to access information and data like they've never had before. They can see on the map, where pullovers are happening most, what time of day, what kinds of pullovers. This leads into training practices, budgeting. It shines light on a lot of areas where there could be growth for the police perspective. And one unique feature from the civilian side is after a pullover, you get there's like this little cookie in there, this little Easter egg in a pullover where you can write and essentially document the level of safety you felt and make notes if anything happened that you want to attach to that pullover. So this allows us to collect that data and share it with police officers so that they can provide, like, implement the practices and training
And reward good behavior.
and not only reward good behavior, but reflect on bad behavior and how to fix it.
That's right.
You know, how to make pivots and shifts within the agencies to address bad behavior from officers that made civilians feel in harm's way of some sort. So it allows them to really listen to the civilians from a distance, but have that implemented in their training so that it ultimately brings them closer together.
Well, Dominic,
Yeah.
this is great. I think you're solving a really important problem, and it sounds like you know how to solve the problem. So I wish you tremendous success.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll work together on your marketing.
Yeah.
And let's help this get out there. Thank you for coming on the
thank you.
Rapid Returns Show.
Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for listening. If you found any of this advice helpful, please leave us a comment below. Or if you have any other digital marketing questions, you can also leave a comment. Plus, we're giving away $250 of ad spend credits. If you go to meetotis.com/rapidreturns, we will match your first month's ad spend up to $250.